Welcome to our comprehensive guide on research methods in psychology. In this series, we delve into the various methodologies used in psychological research, exploring how these methods help us understand human behavior and mental processes. Whether you're a student, educator, or simply interested in psychology, this video will provide valuable insights and practical knowledge. Psychology, as a science, relies heavily on research to build and validate theories. Understanding the research methods used by psychologists is crucial for interpreting their findings and appreciating the rigor behind their work. Let's start by discussing the scientific method, the cornerstone of psychological research. The scientific method. The scientific method is a systematic, step-by-step procedure that researchers follow to ensure their studies are objective, reliable, and valid. It begins with observation, where researchers notice a phenomenon or a pattern in behavior that piques their interest. Next, they formulate a hypothesis, a testable prediction about the relationship between variables. For example, a psychologist might hypothesize that increased screen time leads to higher levels of anxiety in teenagers. Researchers then design and conduct an experiment to test this hypothesis. They collect and analyze data using various statistical methods to determine whether their hypothesis is supported or refuted. Finally, they draw a conclusion based on their findings, which may support their hypothesis or suggest new avenues for further research. Importantly, the scientific method emphasizes replication and peer review to ensure that findings are reliable and valid. Now let's explore the different types of research methods used in psychology, starting with descriptive research. Types of research methods. Descriptive research. Descriptive research aims to describe characteristics of a population or phenomenon. Unlike experimental research, it doesn't involve manipulating variables, but rather observing and recording behavior as it naturally occurs. One common type of descriptive research is the case study, an in-depth analysis of an individual or group. Famous case studies, like that of Phineas Gage, have provided valuable insights into brain function and personality. Another method is naturalistic observation, where researchers observe subjects in their natural environment without intervention. For example, a psychologist might observe children's play behavior in a playground to understand social interactions. Surveys are also widely used in descriptive research. They involve asking participants a series of questions to gather data on attitudes, beliefs, or behaviors. Surveys can be conducted through questionnaires, interviews, or online forums. While descriptive research provides valuable information, it has limitations, such as the inability to determine cause and effect relationships. Next, we'll discuss correlational research, which examines the relationships between variables. Correlational research. Correlational research investigates the relationship between two or more variables to see if they change together. The strength and direction of these relationships are measured using correlation coefficients, ranging from 1 to +1. A positive correlation means that as one variable increases, the other also increases. For example, there might be a positive correlation between study time and academic performance. A negative correlation indicates that as one variable increases, the other decreases. For instance, increased stress levels might correlate with decreased sleep quality. It's crucial to remember that correlation does not imply causation. Just because two variables are correlated doesn't mean one causes the other. There could be other underlying factors at play. Correlational research is valuable for identifying relationships that can be further explored through experimental research, which we'll discuss next. Experimental research. Experimental research is the gold standard for determining cause and effect relationships. It involves manipulating one variable, known as the independent variable, and observing its effect on another variable, the dependent variable, while controlling for other factors. For example, a psychologist might manipulate the amount of sleep participants get, independent variable, to see its effect on memory performance, dependent variable. To ensure the results are valid, researchers use random assignment, randomly placing participants into different groups to control for individual differences. They also include control groups that don't receive the experimental treatment, providing a baseline for comparison. Conducting an experiment involves several steps. 1. Formulating a hypothesis. 2. Designing the experiment. 3. Conducting the experiment. 4. Collecting and analyzing data. 5. Drawing conclusions and reporting findings. Experimental research has its strengths, such as the ability to establish causation and control variables. However, it can be limited by artificial lab settings that may not accurately reflect real-world scenarios. Next, let's delve into ethical considerations, a crucial aspect of all psychological research. Ethical considerations in psychological research. Ethics are fundamental in psychological research to protect the rights and well-being of participants. Historically, some studies, such as the infamous Tuskegee syphilis study and the Milgram obedience experiments, violated ethical principles, leading to significant harm and controversy. To prevent such occurrences, ethical guidelines have been established. Key principles include informed consent. Participants must be fully informed about the study's purpose, procedures, and potential risks before agreeing to participate. Confidentiality. Researchers must keep participants' data private and secure. Protection from harm. Researchers must ensure participants are not exposed to unnecessary risks or harm. Institutional review boards, IRBs, play a critical role in overseeing research. They review study proposals to ensure ethical standards are met and approve only those that protect participants' rights. Let's explore some case studies that highlight ethical considerations and the lessons learned from them. Case studies. Case studies provide in-depth analysis of individuals or groups, offering valuable insights that might not be achievable through other methods. One of the most well-known case studies is that of Phineas Gage, a railroad worker who survived a severe brain injury. His case provided early evidence of the role of the frontal lobes in personality and behavior. Another famous case is Little Albert, where psychologist John Watson demonstrated classical conditioning in a young child. While it provided significant insights, it raised serious ethical concerns due to the distress caused to Albert without proper consent or debriefing. Case studies have advantages, such as providing detailed qualitative data and generating hypotheses for further research. However, they also have limitations, including lack of generalizability and potential researcher bias. Next, we'll discuss surveys, a versatile and widely used research method in psychology. Surveys. Surveys are a popular method for collecting data on attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors from a large number of people. They can be conducted using questionnaires, interviews, or online forums, making them highly adaptable to different research needs. Designing effective survey questions is crucial. Questions should be clear, concise, and unbiased. Researchers often use a mix of open-ended and closed-ended questions to gather both quantitative and qualitative data. Sampling is another important aspect of survey research. Researchers must carefully select their sample to ensure it represents the population they're studying. Common sampling techniques include random sampling, stratified sampling, and convenience sampling. Surveys offer several advantages, such as the ability to collect data from large samples quickly and cost-effectively. However, they also have limitations, including potential response biases and the reliance on self-reported data, which may not always be accurate. Now let's explore naturalistic observation, a method that involves observing behavior in its natural environment. Naturalistic observation involves observing and recording behavior in its natural context without intervention. This method allows researchers to study behavior as it naturally occurs, providing rich ecological validity. For example, Jane Goodall's studies of chimpanzees in the wild provided groundbreaking insights into primate behavior and social structures through naturalistic observation. Conducting naturalistic observations requires careful planning and unobtrusive techniques to minimize observer influence on the subject's behavior. Researchers often use tools like field notes, audio recordings, and video cameras to capture data. Naturalistic observation has several strengths, including the ability to study behavior in real-world settings and the potential to generate new hypotheses. However, it also has limitations, such as the inability to control variables and the potential for observer bias. Next, we'll discuss how researchers often combine different methods to provide a more comprehensive understanding of psychological phenomena. Combining research methods. Mixed methods research combines elements of descriptive, correlational, and experimental research to provide a more holistic view of the subject under study. By integrating different methodologies, researchers can corroborate findings and address the limitations of each method. For example, a study on stress might use surveys to gather self-reported data, naturalistic observation to monitor behavior in real-life settings, and experiments to test specific hypotheses about stress reduction techniques. The combination of methods can provide richer, more nuanced insights and enhance the validity and reliability of the findings. However, it also requires careful planning and coordination to ensure that the different methods complement each other effectively. Next, let's delve into the crucial process of data analysis in psychological research. Data analysis in psychological research. Data analysis is a critical step in psychological research, transforming raw data into meaningful insights. Researchers use a range of statistical techniques to summarize and interpret their data. Descriptive statistics provide a summary of the data. Measures such as the mean, median, and mode offer insights into the central tendency, while the standard deviation indicates the variability of the data. Inferential statistics allow researchers to make inferences about the population based on sample data. Techniques such as t-tests, ANOVA, and regression analysis help determine whether the observed effects are statistically significant and not due to chance. Statistical significance is a key concept, indicating that the results are unlikely to occur by chance alone. Researchers also consider the effect size, which measures the magnitude of the observed effect. To facilitate data analysis, researchers often use software tools such as SPSS, R, and Python. These tools enable them to handle large datasets, perform complex analyses, and visualize their findings effectively. Once the data is analyzed, researchers must report their findings clearly and accurately. Let's explore how to structure and write a psychological research paper. Reporting and disseminating research findings. Clear and accurate reporting is essential for the dissemination and replication of research findings. A well-structured research paper typically includes the following sections. 1. Abstract. A brief summary of the study, including its purpose, methods, results, and conclusions. 2. Introduction. An overview of the research problem, literature review, and the study's objectives and hypotheses. 3. Methods. A detailed description of the procedures, participants, materials, and data collection methods used in the study. 4. Results. Presentation of the findings, including statistical analyses, tables, and graphs. 5. Discussion. Interpretation of the results, implications, limitations, and suggestions for future research. 6. References. A list of all sources cited in the paper. When writing each section, it's important to be clear and concise, providing enough detail for others to replicate the study. Researchers should also adhere to ethical guidelines, such as transparency in reporting methods and results. In addition to publishing in academic journals, researchers disseminate their findings through conferences, presentations, and online platforms. These venues allow for broader sharing of knowledge and foster collaboration within the community. Now, let's discuss the practical applications of psychological research and how these methods are used in various subfields of psychology. Applications of psychological research. Psychological research methods are applied across various subfields, each with its unique focus and practical implications. In clinical psychology, research methods help in understanding mental health disorders, developing treatment protocols, and evaluating their effectiveness. For example, randomized controlled trials are used to test the efficacy of new therapies for depression or anxiety. Cognitive psychologists use experimental methods to study mental processes such as memory, perception, and problem solving. These insights contribute to improving educational practices and developing cognitive therapies. Developmental psychologists employ longitudinal studies and naturalistic observations to examine how people grow and change over their lifespan. This research informs policies and practices in education and child development. Social psychologists investigate how individuals are influenced by social interactions and societal norms. They use surveys and experiments to study topics like group behavior, prejudice, and communication, which have implications for addressing social issues. Industrial organizational psychologists apply research methods to improve workplace productivity, employee satisfaction, and organizational effectiveness. They conduct surveys, interviews, and field experiments to develop evidence-based practices in human resources. The impact of psychological research extends beyond academia. It informs public policy, educational practices, and mental health interventions, demonstrating the real-world relevance of rigorous research methods. Finally, let's look at some future directions and emerging trends in psychological research methods. Future directions and emerging trends. The field of psychological research is continuously evolving, driven by advancements in technology and new theoretical developments. Emerging trends include the use of neuroimaging techniques such as fMRI and EEG to study brain activity and its relation to behavior. Big data and machine learning are transforming research methods, allowing psychologists to analyze vast datasets and uncover patterns that were previously inaccessible. These tools enable more precise predictions and personalized interventions. The rise of digital and online research has expanded the reach of psychological studies, making it easier to recruit diverse participants and conduct large-scale surveys and experiments remotely. Interdisciplinary research is also gaining traction, with psychologists collaborating with experts in fields such as genetics, neuroscience, and computer science to address complex questions about human behavior and cognition. As research methods continue to advance, it's crucial for psychologists to stay informed about new techniques and technologies, ensuring their studies remain at the forefront of scientific inquiry. Conclusion. In this comprehensive guide, we've explored the essential research methods used in psychology, including the scientific method, descriptive, correlational, and experimental research, ethical considerations, case studies, surveys, and naturalistic observation. We've also discussed the importance of combining methods, data analysis, and reporting, as well as the practical applications of psychological research across various subfields. Finally, we've looked at future directions and emerging trends that are shaping the field. Understanding these methods is crucial for anyone interested in psychology, as they provide the foundation for rigorous and ethical research. We hope this guide has provided valuable insights and encouraged you to delve deeper into the fascinating world of psychological research. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more educational content. Stay curious and keep exploring the wonders of psychology.